If you want to make money with cannabis when you sleep, you need to be leveraging the internet. Otherwise, you'll be manually door knocking every single day, trying to get people you know to buy your brand. I'm Chris, and I've been in wholesale cannabis for over 20 years here in California. I've also started 2 licensed cannabis brands that have been in over 100 licensed retailers throughout the state. I've also owned multiple cannabis licenses here in California, which collectively have done tens of millions of dollars over the years. I've culminated all this knowledge and experience to put together into these systematic videos to help others start and scale their licensed cannabis brands without owning a license. So you can make $100K in revenue per month just from following these following 5 things that have to do with your cannabis brands and the internet. Number 1, and one of the most important steps, is to choose the right suppliers. So I go deeper into this in my courses, as well as a video that I'll have linked for you to check out. But finding the right suppliers is crucial to your brand success. And a little tip on finding these suppliers, the best way is to go to business conferences in your area, and even in other states that you plan to expand to. And this is where all these decision makers, all these license holders, all these owners and managers of these companies are gonna be at these events. So be there, give them your best foot forward, have whatever documentation you can show, if it's business cards, if it's packaging, if it's product examples. You wanna show that you have your shit together, that it's not just an idea in your head and that you're planning to do this, you're trying to do this, you wanna do this. Show exactly what you got, how far you are. Let them know you're looking for good suppliers and you're here at this event to network. So number 2 is to create a proper online presence. And this is going deep into branding. When you have your brand developed properly, it's gonna help guide you into how to set up your online presence. And this is gonna be from how the look is, how people see it visually, to how you communicate, to the words you're saying, how you're speaking, all the way to what you're delivering, the value that those posts encapsulate. And so you don't wanna just post stuff to post stuff. You wanna have strategy behind it. You wanna have substance to each post and direction and reasoning to it. So if you wanna learn more about building your online presence, be sure to join my free school community where we have a great group of individuals like-minded, all about getting their cannabis brands either started, if they have them started, how to scale them further, and how to do it profitably. So we have a lot of great content about marketing, content pillars, strategies, sales strategies. So be sure to join it. The link is in the description of this video. Look for the school link below and I'll see you there. Next, we're going into number 3, which is setting up your content pillars. Less is more in this, just 3 or 4 is plenty to have. And these content pillars can be ongoing content formats that you repeatedly release. And each time you release it, it's on a different subject, but it's within the same format. So identify and plan out your content pillars. That way, when you go to create new pieces of content, you have these guidelines to stay within. Number 4 is building the right version of your brand. And I really focus on 2 versions, and that's one for the compliant cannabis industries, whether that's in California, New York, or any of these other states with cannabis programs established, or a THCA hemp version of your brand. And this is somewhat of an unknown strategy right now. A lot of people are trying to figure it out. Fortunately, I've had early access to this information, to this knowledge, and all the way back in 2018 when it first came out, I was lucky enough to identify this, and I didn't really take action on it until 2022. 2023 is really where I rolled it out. And since then, it's helped me exponentially because it's helped us avoid having to use Telegram. It's helped us avoid having to market in other ways and send people to, whether that be street vendors or retail vendors in other areas, versus them just being able to order it consumer direct from our website. And this is powerful. And the way to do this is a combination of finding the right suppliers, as well as setting up your website compliantly setting up your payment processing compliantly, and doing all the distribution fulfillment compliantly as well. That means when you're shipping the stuff out under the hemp laws, you have to have the right paperwork, the chain of custody paperwork, the proper testing paperwork, as well as the proper packaging for your cannabis products, for your THCA products. And even though it's cannabis and hemp, they're basically the same thing. It's trying to say that Americans and Canadians are different people. No, we're all humans. So it's the same with cannabis and hemp. Just because they come from different places, they're defined slightly differently, but no, they're the exact same species, the same plant, and it's man-made laws that have put this divide between the two. So understand that to be compliant hemp, it's got to test under 0.3% THC, and most flower, even in the cannabis market, will test right around 0.3%, maybe 0.4, 0.5. But when the time to take those hemp tests, 30 days before harvest, it's testing well below 0.3%. So when you test it after harvest, after it's dried, after it's been cured, after it's been trimmed, that 0.3 will jump up to 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, but it's still close enough within reason that that actually is compliant, because 30 days before harvest, which is when hemp tests take place, it was a compliant amount of THC. So time and temperature will convert that THCA into THC. And so that's what bumps up that point from 0.3 to 0.4 to 0.5 as it sits for a longer period of time. And as it goes through temperature fluctuations, the heat will decarboxylate the THCA into THC. And so that's why this loophole isn't possible to really identify and pinpoint someone not doing it compliantly, because that flower that would have tested compliant 30 days earlier, 60, 90 days later, might test a point or two higher, but there's nothing you can do about that. It's just the natural progression of the plant. So THCA brands are powerful. And now that the public is becoming aware that there's actually good quality THCA out there, they're looking for that as well online. They don't want to go to dispensaries anymore. They don't want to deal with driving there, going inside, showing their ID, picking up stuff, having all these choices. Same with delivery services. You know, those are a middle ground where you don't have to go to the dispensary, it gets delivered to you, but they might have limited selections. They might have not as fresh stuff. But when you're getting it direct from the supplier, when the brand itself is selling it direct to consumer, you're gonna get the freshest batch possible. They're gonna care about the quality. They're gonna care about the customer service. You're gonna get a great experience. So as a consumer in these upcoming years, when you find good brands that you like, ask them or find out if they have a THCA version. Maybe you can just order their products direct online from them through their hemp website. Everyone thinks that good weed is cannabis and bad weed is hemp. And that's just a misconception. And that's because a lot of the hemp, there's been a lot of bullshit over the years, and people associate hemp as being synonymous with the cheap, shitty weed. However, what a lot of people didn't realize is that good weed can also be classified as hemp as well, based on the federal regulation. So consumers are gonna see the benefits of this as time progresses. And consumers are already starting to request online versions to be able to just order direct from the brand online rather than having to go to a store or call a delivery service. So setting this up for your brand can be exponentially powerful and might even be more profitable, especially at first if you have a great following and a good network to market to. You can be more profitable with this in a quicker amount of time than putting it on licensed retail shelves. Number 5 is hiring the right team to help build your online presence. And I've done this through many ways. I've hired Americans, I've hired outsourced services, subscription services, and now what I've found that works the best is hiring VAs in other countries. And VA stands for virtual assistant. And I have a team of VAs, they're all based in the Philippines. You can also find them in Central America and other parts of Europe. However, I found that the Filipinos are very hardworking, they're very smart, they're very grateful in the sense that what we're paying them is low for American dollars, but it's almost double, if not more, than what the Filipinos would normally get paid. So it's a win-win. It's a classic example of a win-win. And I've seen this through having almost 2 years of Americans consist of my team. And over time, I've realized that the Filipinos actually execute the job better. They're getting paid 20% of what the American salary would be, where if you're paying Americans $20, $25 an hour, the Filipinos are thrilled to get paid $5 to $7 an hour. And in some cases, if they bring highly skilled knowledge, they'll get closer to $10 an hour. Like one of the girls that does all of our automations, plugging in internet automation. So whether that be from messaging to scheduling to when you click the link below and you schedule that call with me through Calendly, all that's automated on the back end. So it sends me a text, it sends you a text, it connects it to my calendar, all this stuff. I'm not the one setting that up. I just set out the objective. I'm like, hey, we need to automate as much of this as possible. And then she goes ahead and executes all that. So having this team of VAs is super important. You get 1 or 2 for your social media, for graphic design, for your finance and bookkeeping. It's a big one because any bookkeeper in America is gonna charge, a good one will charge about $400 a month per company. So that's about $5K a year you're just spending on bookkeeping. When you could find a good one that can perform up to the same standards, they're fully trained in accounting, all the best practices, and understand it completely, you could get one of them for $7 an hour. And so now they're working part-time for your bookkeeping. It's not a full-time position. You know, you're spending a couple hundred maximum per month, probably a little less, probably about 100, 150 on just that one bookkeeper's salary to just track your expenses versus 400. So you see how in the Philippines, you're gonna be paying about 20% of what you'd pay in America. And these people really appreciate the position, the opportunity as well. And they're highly qualified and skilled at it. So it's a win-win. I break down step-by-step how to find these VAs, how to hire them, how to manage them, how to pay them, how to manage their workload on an ongoing basis. And this is all stuff I teach in the guidance course that I have in the link below. So check that out. It's a group of like-minded individuals where they're either starting their cannabis brands, already have it started, or are scaling it. And we get on weekly group calls. We have an on-demand group chat. We have a lot of insight to different stages of this process. So whether you're just getting started or you're a veteran in it and you're just wanting to branch out into the licensed market or into the THCA market, this is an amazing group to be part of. And as far as I know, there's nothing else out there like this, at least not yet. And it's gonna be highly beneficial if you're taking this serious to really build a viable company that can scale profitably and that has a legacy to it. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, click the link below, schedule a call with me directly, and we'll talk about more about how you can get involved with that. So if you're serious about building your cannabis brand from $0 to $100,000 licensed compliantly, again, check out the school community, click the link below for my step-by-step breakdown on how to build your brand. And finally, check out the video I got showing how I got my brand into licensed retailers while using supply chain partnerships.